Kind of weird to watch another man sleep.
Sleep at home.
I got sleep apnea, man. I don't know what to tell you. I can't control it.
Some fans show up to support, others show up to cause chaos. From Gideon turning courtside into a full-on sleepover, to Dave Portnoy making racist remarks about Angel Reese while defending Caitlin Clark, these WNBA fans crossed the line and ended up permanently banned. Gideon Adams. Our first story takes us back to July 2023, when a YouTube content creator known as Gideon Adams decided to stage what would become one of the most controversial pranks in WNBA history. Gideon Adams, whose real name is Jidon Adams, is a prankster with millions of subscribers known for disruptive viral content targeting public events. The incident unfolded across multiple games, but the most notorious occurred during a Minnesota Lynx versus Atlanta Dream matchup, where Gideon attended courtside in pajamas, bringing pillows and blankets to stage a sleeping prank. The premise was simple yet insulting. He would pretend to sleep during the game, implying that WNBA games were so boring they could put spectators to sleep. But Gideon didn't stop at just sleeping. During the game, he also attempted a jump shot with a loose ball, further disrupting play. Security quickly intervened, removing him mid-game as he documented everything for his YouTube channel. The resulting video, titled "Don't Sleep on the WNBA," garnered millions of views, but the consequences were severe. The aftermath was swift and decisive. Gideon received a lifetime ban from all NBA and WNBA events, confirmed by multiple sources, including a letter from NBA security. This wasn't his first rodeo with basketball pranks. He had previously pulled stunts at NBA games, including getting a haircut during a game, which contributed to the comprehensive nature of his ban. What makes this case particularly significant is how it highlighted the tension between content creation and respect for women's sports. The ban was for repeated disruptions, not just sleeping, as he had prior NBA pranks. The WNBA's response sent a clear message that the league would not tolerate stunts that mocked or diminished the sport. Regardless of the perpetrator's social media following, the incident sparked broader conversations about the responsibility of influencers and content creators when it comes to women's sports. While some argued that any attention was good attention for the WNBA, league officials and players made it clear that respectful engagement was the only acceptable form of fan participation. Gideon's ban extended beyond just basketball, with threats of NFL bans mentioned in unrelated videos, demonstrating how seriously professional sports leagues take such disruptions. The Gideon case established a precedent that would influence how the WNBA handled subsequent fan misconduct incidents. It showed that fame, followers, or viral potential would not shield disruptive fans from consequences, setting the stage for the league's zero-tolerance approach to fan behavior that we see today. Dave Portnoy. Perhaps no figure has been more polarizing in recent WNBA discourse than Dave Portnoy, the founder of Barstool Sports. Unlike other cases on our list, Portnoy's situation is unique because he was never formally banned, despite mounting calls for his exclusion from WNBA events. His story illustrates the complex challenges the league faces when dealing with influential media figures, whose commentary crosses into controversial territory. Dave Portnoy, founder of Barstool Sports, is a vocal sports commentator with a history of provocative opinions on women's sports, including past criticisms of the WNBA's viability. Throughout 2024 and 2025, Portnoy became deeply embedded in the Caitlin Clark-Angel Reese rivalry, often in ways that amplified tensions and sparked accusations of racial bias. The controversy escalated significantly when Portnoy amplified the Caitlin Clark-Angel Reese rivalry via podcasts and social media, praising Clark while criticizing Reese's play and attitude. His comments included calling Reese a classless piece of shit after the 2023 NCAA Finals and repeatedly accusing her of jealousy toward Clark. These statements weren't made in isolation, but were part of a broader pattern of commentary that many viewed as racially charged. The situation reached a boiling point in May 2025 when Portnoy denied racism allegations tied to fan harassment at a Sky Fever game, labeling investigations a hoax. His close association with Caitlin Clark, including public dinners and bets on her performance, fueled accusations of bias and inappropriate influence over fan behavior. The backlash was immediate and widespread. A petition to ban him from WNBA games garnered significant attention, with supporters arguing that his inflammatory rhetoric was contributing to a toxic environment for Black players in the league. Players and analysts weighed in, with figures like Renee Montgomery labeling his fans racist and calling for accountability. However, the WNBA's response was notably restrained. Despite the petition and public pressure, no formal ban was issued. Portnoy remains active at games. The league investigated related fan claims but found them unsubstantiated, leading to Portnoy's counter-accusations that the WNBA was engaged in bait-and-switch tactics. This case highlights the delicate balance the WNBA must strike between protecting players from harassment and respecting free speech rights. Portnoy's influence extends far beyond his personal opinions. His massive platform means his commentary reaches millions of fans, potentially shaping their attitudes and behaviors. When he appeared on Club Shay Shay, he claimed responsibility for racial undertones in the rivalry, though he later walked back some of these statements. The ongoing Portnoy controversy demonstrates how modern sports leagues must navigate the complex world of social media influencers and partisan commentary. While he hasn't crossed the line into behavior that would warrant a ban, his case remains a flashpoint for discussions about the role of media figures in shaping fan culture and the responsibilities that come with large platforms in women's sports. Caitlin Clark's aggressive fan. September 25, 2024, marked a pivotal moment in WNBA playoff history, not just for the on-court action between the Indiana Fever and Connecticut Sun, but for an incident that would highlight the growing toxicity surrounding fan behavior. During Game 1 of the playoffs at Mohegan Sun Arena, an unidentified male fan in courtside seats crossed the line from passionate support to unacceptable harassment. The incident began to unfold during the game, when the fan directed threats and slurs at Clark throughout the game, escalating to racial language.
Yeah, Caitlin Clark, sorry to interrupt, Rebecca, getting into it with a fan who she was going back and forth with in the front row and pointing it out to the officials.
What made the situation particularly troubling was the sustained nature of the harassment and the fans' proximity to the players. Courtside seats, which can cost hundreds or even thousands of dollars, are meant to provide an elite viewing experience, not a platform for abuse. Clark herself pointed the fan out to referees and security mid-game, a moment captured on video that would later go viral. The footage shows a tense exchange between Clark and the fan before security intervened. This wasn't a split-second outburst, but a calculated decision by Clark to address the situation directly, demonstrating the severity of what was being said. Post-game reports revealed the full extent of the fan's behavior. Video shows security removing him after a tense exchange, with reports revealing he mocked players' appearances and used derogatory terms. The harassment wasn't limited to general heckling, but included personal attacks and language that crossed racial lines, contributing to what many described as a hostile environment. The consequences were swift and appropriate. The fan received an immediate ejection and permanent ban from Mohegan Sun Arena. The WNBA condemned the behavior in an official statement, reinforcing their commitment to player safety and respectful fan engagement. While no criminal charges were filed, the incident sparked league-wide discussions about fan harassment protocols. This case was particularly significant because it involved harassment directed at Caitlin Clark herself, who had become the face of the WNBA's recent surge in popularity. The irony wasn't lost on observers that Clark, who had drawn new fans to the league, was being subjected to the same type of toxic behavior that had long plagued women's sports. It sparked broader discussions on fan harassment amid reports of racial abuse. The incident also highlighted the challenges facing arena security in the social media age. With every moment potentially captured and shared online, security personnel must balance quick intervention with careful documentation of incidents. The fact that this occurred during a playoff game, with heightened emotions and national television coverage, added another layer of complexity to the situation. What made this case even more impactful was how it demonstrated the interconnected nature of fan behavior across different games and venues. This wasn't an isolated incident, but part of a broader pattern of escalating fan misconduct that the WNBA was grappling with throughout the 2024 season. The league's firm response sent a clear message that such behavior would not be tolerated, regardless of how much fans paid for their seats or how passionate they claimed to be about supporting their team. The ban nails sign controversy. The same playoff game that saw the aggressive fan incident also featured another troubling display of fan misconduct, this one targeting Connecticut Sun guard Dejounai Carrington. This case would become emblematic of how seemingly innocent criticism can mask deeper cultural and racial biases, creating a hostile environment for Black players in the WNBA. The controversy centered around a female fan who wore a ban nails shirt with exaggerated fake nails, mocking Carrington's long acrylics. The context was crucial. Earlier in the series, Carrington had accidentally poked Caitlin Clark in the eye with her fingernail, an incident that had been blown out of proportion by some fans and media members. What should have been recognized as an unfortunate accident became the basis for a targeted campaign against Carrington. The fans' choice to wear the shirt and fake nails was interpreted as a cultural attack on Black women's aesthetics, touching on long-standing stereotypes and prejudices about Black women's appearance and style choices. Long nails, particularly acrylics, are a significant part of Black beauty culture, and the mockery of this aesthetic choice was seen as an attack attack on Black femininity itself. The incident sparked immediate controversy and debate. Players and fans interpreted it as crossing the line from legitimate criticism into racist territory. The fan was confronted by players and ultimately ejected amid boos from other spectators, but the damage had been done. The image of the band Nails shirt spread rapidly on social media, becoming a symbol of the toxic elements within certain fan communities. Carrington responded post-game, calling the behavior vicious, highlighting how personal attacks disguised as sports criticism can deeply affect players. Her response was measured but firm, emphasizing that while she understood passionate fandom, there were lines that shouldn't be crossed. The band Nails incident became part of a larger conversation about the treatment of Black players in the WNBA, particularly in relation to the Caitlin Clark phenomenon. It highlighted enforcement inconsistencies in how the league handled different types of fan misconduct. While the fan was ejected and banned from future games, critics argued that the league's response wasn't swift or comprehensive enough. This case was particularly troubling because it demonstrated how easily sports criticism could be weaponized to perpetuate harmful stereotypes. The fan likely believed they were making a legitimate point about player safety and rule enforcement, but the execution revealed deeper biases and prejudices. The choice to mock Carrington's appearance rather than focus on gameplay or officiating decisions exposed the racial undertones of the criticism. The incident also highlighted the vulnerability of Black players in predominantly white spaces. Despite their athletic achievements and professional status, players like Carrington found themselves subjected to attacks on their cultural expression and personal choices. The league faced criticism for not doing enough to protect Black players from such harassment. The band Nails controversy serves as a reminder that fan misconduct isn't always overt or obviously problematic. Sometimes it's disguised as legitimate criticism or fandom, making it more insidious and harder to address. The WNBA's handling of this incident became a test case for how the league would protect players from harassment that targeted their identity and cultural expression, not just their athletic performance. Alan Wiley, July 15, 2025, brought another troubling incident to light when the Indiana Fever hosted the Connecticut Sun at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. This case would prove particularly significant because it involved physical contact between a fan and a player, crossing one of the most fundamental boundaries in professional sports. The fan in question was later identified as Alan Wiley, a Bridgeport police officer attending the game off-duty. Wiley, a Fever fan wearing a Caitlin Clark jersey and sitting courtside, allegedly touched Sun rookie Sonia Rivers on the arm or shoulder during a stoppage in play. The incident appeared minor from a distance, but Rivers' immediate reaction suggested something more serious had occurred. The young player was visibly upset and quickly reported the contact to officials. Video footage of the incident shows Rivers' clear distress and Wiley's subsequent removal amid crowd boos. What makes this case particularly concerning is that any unauthorized physical contact between fans and players represents a serious breach of boundaries, regardless of intent. Professional athletes have the right to perform their jobs without fear of being touched by spectators. The revelation that Wiley was an off-duty Bridgeport police officer added another layer of complexity to the situation. As a law enforcement professional, Wiley would presumably understand the importance of respecting boundaries and following rules. His position made the incident even more troubling, as it suggested that even those entrusted with upholding the law weren't immune to crossing lines in the heat of fandom. The immediate consequences were clear. Wiley was ejected from the game. However, unlike some other cases, no permanent ban was immediately confirmed, though team policy allows for ticket revocation. The incident sparked discussions about appropriate security measures for courtside seating and the need for clear boundaries between fans and players. Rivers received support from her teammates and coaching staff, who rallied around the young player during what was clearly a distressing experience. No criminal charges were filed, but the incident highlighted the vulnerability of players, particularly young women, to inappropriate fan behavior. This case was significant because it involved actual physical contact, something the WNBA has consistently treated as a zero-tolerance issue. The league's security protocols are designed to prevent exactly this type of incident, and the fact that it occurred despite these measures raised questions about courtside security and fan education. The Wiley incident also highlighted the particular challenges facing rookie players in the WNBA. Rivers, as a first-year player, was still adjusting to the professional environment and learning to navigate the unique pressures of playing in front of passionate crowds. Having to deal with inappropriate fan contact added an unnecessary burden to her rookie season experience. The case served as a reminder that physical boundaries in sports are non-negotiable, regardless of how much fans pay for courtside seats or how passionate they are about their team. Touching players without consent is always unacceptable. The WNBA's response to this incident would help establish precedents for how similar situations would be handled in the future. Angel Reese fan confrontation. July 14, 2025, should have been a celebratory night for Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky. Playing at home at Wintrust Arena against the Minnesota Lynx, Reese was having an outstanding performance and was on track to surpass a significant record. However, the night was marred by another fan confrontation that highlighted the ongoing tensions surrounding one of the WNBA's brightest stars. The incident occurred at the end of the third quarter, when Reese drew a foul and subsequently exchanged heated words with a courtside fan, pointing them out to officials. The confrontation was notable enough that game commentators immediately urged for the fan's ejection, recognizing that the situation had escalated beyond acceptable limits. What made this incident particularly troubling was the setting. Reese was playing at home, in front of her own team's fans, yet still faced harassment. Commentators called for ejection, citing disruption, though the specific words exchanged were unclear. The fact that Reese appeared visibly agitated suggested that whatever was said crossed the line from passionate fandom into personal attack territory. The timing of the incident was particularly unfortunate. This occurred on a night when Reese was making history, ultimately posting 22 points and 10 rebounds. What should have been a celebration of her athletic achievements was overshadowed by yet another example of fan misconduct, targeting one of the league's most prominent players. The fan was ejected following the commentators' calls and official intervention, allowing the game to continue. However, the incident was captured on video and quickly spread across social media, becoming another data point in the ongoing discussion about the treatment of Black players in the WNBA. Social media analysis and lip-reading attempts tried to determine exactly what was said, though the full context remained unclear. This case was significant because it demonstrated that even in home venues, Black players like Reese weren't safe from harassment. The Chicago Sky's home games should have been a sanctuary where Reese could play without fear of personal attacks, yet the reality proved different. The incident highlighted the pervasive nature of the problem facing the league. The confrontation also showed how quickly situations could escalate in the social media age. Within hours of the incident, videos were circulating online, with various interpretations and analyses of what had transpired. This immediate amplification added pressure on the league to respond quickly and decisively to such incidents. Reese's handling of the situation demonstrated both her maturity and the unfortunate reality that she had become accustomed to dealing with hostile fans. Rather than allowing the confrontation to derail her performance, she continued to play at an elite level, finishing with impressive statistics that should have been the story of the night. The incident at Wintrust Arena became another example of how individual fan behavior could overshadow athletic achievement and create hostile environments for players. It reinforced the need for enhanced security measures and clearer consequences for fans who crossed the line from passionate support into harassment. The Angel Reese racist harassment investigation. Perhaps no incident in recent WNBA history has been more controversial or more thoroughly investigated than the alleged racist behavior directed at Angel Reese during a May 17, 2025, game between the Chicago Sky and Indiana Fever. This case would ultimately reveal the complex challenges of addressing fan misconduct in an era of social media amplification and competing narratives. The allegations emerged following the Sky Fever game, when multiple fans were allegedly involved in directing racial slurs at Reese during the game, with claims amplified by the ongoing Clark-Reese rivalry. The timing was significant, coming at a period when tensions between fan bases were particularly high, and social media discourse around the two players had reached a fever pitch. Reese claimed harassment post-game, with recordings allegedly surfacing but proving inconclusive. The allegations quickly gained traction on social media, with supporters rallying around Reese and demanding immediate action from the league. The claims fit into a broader narrative about the treatment of Black players in the WNBA, particularly in relation to the Caitlin Clark phenomenon.
We are aware of the allegations of inappropriate fan conduct, and we are working closely with the WNBA to complete their investigation. We stand firm in our commitment to provide a safe environment for all WNBA players.
The WNBA took the allegations seriously, launching a comprehensive investigation into the reported incidents. The league investigated related fan claims, but the process was thorough and extensive, involving multiple interviews, video review, and audio analysis. The investigation represented the league's commitment to addressing racism and harassment, even as it faced criticism from various quarters. However, the investigation's conclusion was controversial. The WNBA investigation found claims unsubstantiated, with no bans issued. The league stated that despite extensive efforts to verify the allegations, they could not find sufficient evidence to support the claims of racist behavior by fans during the game. The aftermath was explosive. Dave Portnoy, whose own involvement in WNBA discourse had been controversial, called the investigation results a hoax, arguing that the entire incident had been manufactured for attention. His response sparked additional controversy and highlighted the polarized nature of fan discourse around the league. Reese spoke publicly about the impact of the alleged harassment, emphasizing the emotional toll that such incidents take on players, regardless of their ultimate verification. Her response was measured but firm, noting that the broader pattern of harassment facing Black players in the league remained a serious concern. The case highlighted several significant challenges facing the WNBA. First, it demonstrated the difficulty of investigating harassment claims in crowded, noisy arena environments, where audio and video evidence may be unclear or insufficient. Second, it showed how quickly allegations could spread on social media, creating public pressure for immediate action even before investigations could be completed. The incident also revealed the complex dynamics surrounding the Clark-Reese rivalry and how it had been weaponized by different factions within the WNBA fanbase. The league condemned hate regardless of the investigation's outcome, emphasizing that harassment of any kind was unacceptable. This case became a defining moment for how the WNBA would handle harassment allegations going forward. The league's thorough investigation and transparent communication about its findings established precedents for future incidents, while also highlighting the ongoing challenges of protecting players in an increasingly polarized environment. The season ticket revocation. Our final case involves an anonymous Indiana Fever season ticket holder whose story illustrates the fine line between passionate fandom and disruptive behavior. This incident, occurring during the 2024 to 2025 season, highlights the subjective nature of fan behavior enforcement and the challenges teams face in maintaining appropriate arena atmospheres. The fan in question was a dedicated Caitlin Clark supporter who had invested significantly in season tickets, demonstrating a genuine commitment to supporting the team. However, during games, the fan's behavior was deemed disruptive, despite reportedly avoiding vulgarity. The fan cheered loudly and booed calls, behavior that would typically be considered normal fan engagement at sporting events. The situation escalated when the fan received an email from the team revoking their season tickets with a refund. The fan claimed the revocation was unfair, arguing that their behavior fell within acceptable bounds of fan enthusiasm. This case raises important questions about where teams draw the line between passionate support and disruptive behavior. What makes this case particularly complex is the lack of clear public details about the specific incidents that led to the revocation. Unlike other cases where physical contact, racist language, or obvious harassment occurred, this situation appears to involve subjective judgments about what constitutes appropriate fan behavior. The case may overlap with other ejection incidents from the 2024 to 2025 season, suggesting a pattern of enforcement that some fans found inconsistent or overly strict. The anonymity of this case also highlights privacy concerns surrounding fan discipline. While ejections and bans for serious misconduct are often public, teams also handle less severe cases quietly to protect fan privacy while still maintaining arena standards. This creates a situation where the full context of disciplinary actions may not be publicly available. This case represents the everyday challenges that teams face in managing fan behavior. Not every incident involves clear-cut violations like physical contact or hate speech. Sometimes, teams must make difficult decisions about fans whose behavior, while not obviously inappropriate, creates disruptions that affect other spectators' enjoyment of the game. The season ticket revocation also reflects the broader tensions within WNBA fandom during the Clark era. With increased attention and passion surrounding the league, normal fan behavior patterns were intensified, creating situations where long-standing practices might suddenly be seen as problematic. Teams found themselves navigating new territory in terms of crowd management and fan expectations. The case raises important questions about consistency and fairness in fan behavior enforcement. If teams are going to revoke season tickets for disruptive behavior, fans deserve clear guidelines about what constitutes unacceptable conduct. The subjective nature of terms like disruptive can lead to perceptions of unfair treatment or selective enforcement. Thanks for watching. Check out other cards on the screen.